Welcome to the Week 5 Buy Low, Sell High show, where we're breaking down all the players you see above my head. I will drag the player to the corresponding category, Buy Low, Sell High. And like I mentioned last week, in weeks 4, 5, 6, 7, a lot of the time, these players are going to qualify for both categories. When that happens, I will let you know. There's no real good explanation for why this player is not doing well. I've identified for you, walking into week 5, the top guys to acquire if your team is in need of a trade. We're breaking down all of these players and more. The Fantasy Football Show
begins now.
This is the Fantasy Football Show with your host, Smitty.
Top 5 running back.
You're watching the Fantasy Football Show.
Smitty.
Take a lap.
Before we get into the show, I want to ask you guys to jump on over to Smitty1.com and click on the Underdog banner. Support the channel. I can't tell you how much it supports me to support these guys, but I absolutely love Underdog and play it myself. There's nothing better than walking into the upcoming week with some more skin in the game. There's something fun also about resetting your thinking and going, okay, I know a lot of different things right now. I'm going to do a week 5 only fantasy contest. And that's what you could do at Underdog Fantasy. Jump on over to Underdog by going to Smitty1.com. If you go to Underdog without going through my link at Smitty1.com, banner pops right up when you go there. Make sure you enter promo code Smitty if you go over there on your own. And if you don't already have a subscription to my 2021 SleeperU.com, I will throw that in if you just email me a receipt, a screenshot, whatever, that you are partaking in some amazing best ball week 5 fantasy football contest goodness. Go do it at Smitty1.com right now. First up, let's talk about Nick Chubb. I know Nick Chubb's good. I know Nick Chubb could be one of the best running backs in the league. In fact, he is at times one of the best running backs in the league. The problem with Nick Chubb is Kareem Hunt. The problem with Nick Chubb is the workload is divided, and Kareem Hunt is so ultra efficient, and they trust him near as much, if not more, near the goal line. That could go back and forth, but Nick Chubb is going to get oftentimes 10 to 14 carries, and if he's not ultra efficient, which a lot of times he has been, which is why his value is so good, you could be extremely disappointed come week 7 or 8 if you don't take advantage of selling high and getting maybe 2 players for one, when one of those players can be a very, very good comparable player that's really doubted right now. Throwing a Calvin Ridley, a DK Metcalf, and a player. You might be able to get a AJ Brown and a Gibson, and then you're downgrading your running back, but then you got this wide receiver waiting for you to help carry you through the mid-season and beyond. I'm not telling you to sell low. I'm not telling you to sell for medium or medium rare, but I am telling you that if you can sell high on Nick Chubb, you're going to get yourself probably 2 very good components for your team moving forward, and you get rid of a lot of the risk that comes along with Nick Chubb sharing carries in an offense that's going to continue to feed both Hunt and Chubb almost equally, and Hunt's going to get more of the PPR work. I liked Hunt all offseason more than Nick Chubb given the cost of entry. And looking at one of my leagues, Kareem Hunt's showing up as number 7 overall, 4 running backs in 2021 through 4 weeks, and Nick Chubb is ranked number 14. I know it's only 4 weeks, but we kind of thought this might happen. And looking at their game logs, 15 carries, 11 carries, 22 carries, 21. Nick Chubb can get those 20 carry games, but he can also get those 11 carry games. And without that PPR work, look at the targets 2, 1, 0, 1. Those match the reception totals. And then you look at Kareem Hunt's game log, and yeah, he's lacking some of the carry totals that Nick Chubb's got. And here are the receiving stats. You got 3 receptions, 1 reception, 6 receptions, 2. You got 74 yards in week 3, and no receiving TDs yet. I think that will change. I think he's going to pull in a couple of receiving TDs, minimum 2 or 3 on the year. Kareem Hunt just gets more targets, and I'm not saying I don't like Nick Chubb or that Nick Chubb can't get those 22, 21 carry games, but that's why we're here. That's why I'm talking about him, is sell him off of those 2 back-to-back 20-plus carry games, because I fear that 11 carry game, that 15 carry game without the PPR work, if the touchdowns aren't there, is going to leave you desiring a lot more from a guy that you can get a ton for right now. In an environment where running backs are non-existent right now in that like mid-range area. Now, I'm not saying trade Nick Chubb if he's your running back 1 and you're going to get nobody in return. I'm saying get creative, and if a deal can help you win your league, if you can get 2 players, you can get a Gibson and an AJ Brown. Maybe you give up Nick Chubb and a mediocre wide receiver that's playing really well that you can oversell right now. That's the kind of move I'm talking about. AJ Brown, I'm buying at the right price. Like if you can get him and somebody to fill in for AJ Brown until he comes back, or you got the kind of depth that makes it to where like your lineup doesn't get hit that bad, trading away a player for AJ Brown because you got Jacoby Myers or somebody that you can plug in that's pretty good, that's comparable to the player you're trading away for AJ Brown. That's when AJ Brown makes sense for people to buy. Not when you're getting rid of a big starting lineup component and you're not getting anything back and then AJ Brown goes to your bench. If you do that, you're going to end up losing 2 of your next 3 games, and then what good's AJ Brown really going to do you? Everybody freaking out about Ceedee Lamb again. Last week we heard it. What do we do with Ceedee Lamb, Smitty? Smitty, this is back-to-back weeks now. Are you finally seeing that Ceedee Lamb is not as good as you said he'd be? Trade him to me. I'll take Ceedee Lamb. In my opinion, top 5 to 7 wide receiver going forward. I still buy him. I buy him. I hold him. I don't understand people. Dak is going to feed him. I'm going to buy low all day long. In fact, I'm going to sell guys high and try and acquire Lamb and another piece to improve my lineup. Can we please have an example, Smitty? Give away Mike Williams for a Ceedee Lamb. Give away a Chris Carson for a Ceedee Lamb. Those are 1-for-1 trades. How about Patterson for Ceedee Lamb? Maybe you won't do that, but I will. I like Cordarrelle Patterson, and I say you ride that wave until the wave crashes if you own him, if you can't get rid of him high. But if you can trade him away and get a Ceedee Lamb, do it. Now let's head in the direction of more of that 2-for-1 thing I'm talking about. Let's say you're the Kupp owner and you need something. You need a couple players. You're not going to win. That's when you trade Cooper Kupp. You don't trade Cooper Kupp unless you need to trade Cooper Kupp. So I don't want to hear in the comments, you don't trade Cooper Kupp. Smitty, even if I'm going to lose, I'm not trading Cooper Kupp. If you need a move, you trade Kupp for Lamb and maybe a Gibson. Maybe you have to throw somebody into this deal. Maybe you got to throw Corey Davis in. But when you can get a guy like Lamb who can be comparable to Kupp, I don't care if you don't think it's going to happen right now. There will be a time where they're scoring the same. And Lamb is worth the risk if you can get this player right here, who is also worth the risk at the cost of like a Corey Davis or a Tyson Williams. Give me the Lamb Gibson combo all day long. That's how you buy Ceedee Lamb on the low. And that's how you buy Gibson on the low. And that's how you sell Kupp on the high. Diontae, I worry about. He's such an injury risk, and I sell him. He had a good game. I worry about him staying on the field. I sell him. Mike Williams, as I mentioned, I sell him for a Lamb. I sell him right now before it's too late. I'm targeting a DK Metcalf. I'm buying him low. I'm targeting a Ridley. I'm buying him low, and I'm trading a guy like Mike Williams. Even if he works out, I'm not mad because I'm getting players that I truly believe will bounce back and be good, like DK, like Ridley, like Lamb. I'm not going to worry if Williams continues to play well. I'm trading him for other reasons. I'm trading him for players I believe in, and it's all going to work out no matter what happens with Mike Williams. I'm buying low on Kamara because people are freaking out about Alvin Kamara right now. They're worried about Taysom Hill, Winston, what's going to happen, and I don't think anybody's going to sell him off for dirt cheap, but you might be able to package a J-Rob and another player, a J-Rob and a Mike Williams for a Kamara. I'm going to bet against Urban Meyer making J-Rob consistent all the time. I'm selling high on these guys. I'm buying low on Alvin Kamara. And that's just one example of how to buy Kamara. I'll definitely sell high on Chris Carson. I don't believe the volume's there, and I don't trust him, plain and simple. I don't trust him to stay healthy. I don't trust him to hold on to the football. I don't trust him to be there for me at the end of the year when I need him most. I'm selling high on Patterson. You can't possibly buy him low, but I'm only selling high. Again, ride the wave till it crashes if you're not getting a ton. I'm buying Deandre Hopkins every chance I can get. The dude's a top 1 to 3 wide receiver to me moving forward. He's been a little banged up every week. He's inching closer to getting more healthy. The offense is amazing. Best offense in the NFL. Best team in the NFL right now. And coming off a couple of struggling weeks, people have that mentality of, okay, if the team's blowing up and he's not, what's wrong with that player? Is this player broken? There's no real good explanation for why this player's not doing well if the entire team's doing well. Therefore, there must be something wrong with the player. So people are freaking out about Hopkins. You could maybe buy Hopkins using a Mike Williams and something. Maybe you can trade Patterson and Mike Williams, or Patterson, better yet, and Carson for Hopkins. Maybe you could do Carson alone. Maybe you could trade J-Rob alone for Hopkins. You might be able to pull that off. I'm buying low on Davante Adams. I'm buying low on Kyle Pitts. I'm buying low on Josh Allen. And you may say, well, Josh Allen blew up the week before, Smitty. How can you buy low on him? Through my HeySmitty.com, I feel like I have the best temperature on what people are willing to do and what they're not willing to do. I can't tell you how many text messages I get. I've got my HeySmitty.com phone line. Again, you can order it by going to HeySmitty.com. And on my text line, I have question after question about Hopkins, about Josh Allen. And people are like, what do we do with Josh Allen?
What do we do with Lamb? What do we do with Lamb?
Now it's, what do we do with Lamb? What do we do with Josh Allen? After 1 week, one comment on my YouTube stream, my live stream, the other night, it said in so many words,
Smitty,
Josh Allen doesn't look like an
early grab QB at all.
I'm buying low. Josh Allen could be the number one quarterback. Even with all the points that have happened through weeks 1 through 4, he could finish as the number one overall scorer in fantasy football and the number one overall quarterback. I'm buying Josh Allen low everywhere I can. Deebo, don't sell him low, but 100% consider selling him high. I like Deebo, ride the wave, but sell him high if you can. If you can get a Hopkins, even if you throw in Deebo and another player, Deebo and Patterson, if you can go get a Hopkins for that, do it. You can sell high. Smitty approves selling Deebo high. I also Smitty approved buying Javonte Williams low. Why? Because he's looking good. He's not getting the volume. We're only 4 weeks into football. This guy could get going in week 7 or 8. It might not be next week. If Javonte takes another couple games, I'm still going to be patient because once he gets in there, he could be a top 10 running back, which is hard to find right now. So use the disappointment to your advantage and buy him now while owners are frustrated and they'll throw him into a deal. If you ask for Javonte only, you could get a lot of no's. You could trigger a lot of people to be defensive and go, I'm going to wait. But if he's part of some bigger deal, he's a lot easier to throw in and go, forget it. I'm not going to wait anymore. I've waited long enough. And then they throw Javonte in. So sell high on Patterson, but only sell high. JT, I'm not buying JT now because he had a pretty good game, and I worry about him enough that he kind of flips into a sell high. He's kind of a disappointing guy, and I just don't trust him, and I trust that you could get a safer player right now by cashing in on his big week. The best advice I could give anybody right now that's 1-3 or 0-4 is to ask yourself, look at your team and be honest and say, okay, I'm taking an honest inventory on my team. Do you have the kind of team that can come back and win? Do you feel like your team is dominant? If you've got Diggs and Ridley and DK, and you got a good running back one, you got Josh Allen, I know some of you out there have a team constructed around those kinds of players, and my advice is to hold strong if you still love your team. Make trades where you can. Always accept a trade that's going to make your team better, but don't panic. If you're 0-4 or 1-3 and your team doesn't look up to par, then you do got to make some moves. You got to make some tough calls. You got to make some trades and trade away players that might be some of your favorite players scoring big. But if you got a Kyler, if you got a Kupp, you got a Chubb, you have J-Rob, you have these guys doing well right now. Deebo, Patterson, Derrick Henry. You're going to have to divide the big scoring player into 2 players. The key, the reason you do it though, is to acquire the right players at the right time that are about to bounce back. And some of those guys are right here. I've identified for you, walking into week 5, the top guys to acquire if your team is in need of a trade. Not everybody's in need of a trade. Not every Cooper Kupp owner or Derrick Henry owner or JT owner or whatever, J-Rob owner or Cordarrelle Patterson owner. Not everyone is gonna need a trade. Therefore, you don't need to force anything. Again, accept any deal that makes your team better at any time. Don't have loyalties to a player and pass up on a good trade that makes you better, a better chance to win because you like the player. I mean, you can do that, but if you want to dominate, you got to let go of that kind of stuff. But not every team is built to win right now. And if you've got those guys popping off like Kupp and Henry and J-Rob and Mike Williams, you got to make a move. You got to make a smart move, and you got to target a lot of these guys. now before they bounce back.
Take a lap.
And catch my show every Tuesday and Thursday, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern. And I'm live every Friday and Saturday at midnight Eastern. That's my live stream schedule right there. And then I drop all these other videos throughout the week. So make sure you're subbed up if you're new. Get ready for my video show to hit Spotify sometime at the end of October, we hope. So get on over to my Spotify link. It's in the description. Follow me early. And if you want to get in on my 2 video calls I do every Sunday at halftime of the morning games, halftime of the Sunday night game. And we kickstart all the buy low, sell high, what's going on in the week. If you want to get in on those calls, DM me on Instagram at the Fantasy Football Show and I'll walk you through the whole thing. Let's tear it up, week 5. And don't forget to order my text service at heysmitty.com. Later.
This is the Fantasy Football Show with your host, Smitty.
Top 5 running back.
You're watching the Fantasy Football Show.
Smitty.